I finally finished reading Oathbound. It's by Banana Yoshimoto, NP. I'm not ready for this to be over. I'm already like 2 or 3 chapters left. Up to this page, that's when everything ends. Y'all, I'm not ready for this to be over. What a ride. Hello. So I wanted to check in, pretty much an update. I finished Oathbound. I finally finished reading Oathbound. Oh my gosh, if you do watch my other videos, I always mention this book either like wanting to read it and then pushing it off, and then I finally started reading it and I still haven't finished it. Yes, it's been a whole month since I've read this book. Or like since I started it. I literally just finished it last night. Actually, no, not last night. 2 nights ago. 2 nights ago, because last night I was reading Watermoon finally. But wow. I 100% understand the hype. I'm gonna go ahead and put like a spoiler around the border. You have been warned, we're gonna be talking about spoilers, and then I'll put a visual indicator for this is spoiler territory. This is the 3rd book in the Legendborn series, that's why, and I think any information, like even talking about character names or plot, or I don't know, even just a little bit, is spoiling it in my opinion. I mean, I think everyone that I watch videos on agrees that if you start talking about the rest of the book in the series, it just ends up being spoiler territory. So this is gonna be spoiler territory, okay? This is for all the viewers or anyone who's listening who has already read Oathbound. This is for you because I want to talk. It surprised me, okay? I think I've mentioned it in previous videos, or maybe not, I don't know, but I think in the wrap-up, my last wrap-up, that it was moving pretty slow. It's not that it was a bad thing that it was slow, it was just slow enough to the point where I kind of lost interest, and I read 3 books in between. I stopped, like I told you, it took me a month to finish, and not because of the size, it's because I changed my mind. I was like, okay, well that's cool, I'm gonna read something else now. So I read like 3 other books. I actually know 4 because I finished another one, I Who Have Never Known Men, before this one. And so yeah, I wanted to read other things in between. Not saying it's like not good, it just didn't hook me as much as book 1 and book 2. Book 1 and book 2, I finished that within days because I was so excited in terms of everything that was happening in the book got me interested and staying interested. I don't know if that makes sense. But it wasn't until, I don't know, I think I was past 400 pages or so, or maybe like early 400 pages. Once you get into Act 3 and 4, I mean, oh my god, Act 4. Act 4. But once you enter Act 3, because there's so many other things that happen in the book, it starts picking up. And I always thought of myself, I'm not too much of an action girl. As in, like, I don't need my books to constantly have action, even for other mediums or media, like film and TV and just anything like that. I don't mind episodes or parts of the story that needs to slow down for us to get attached to the characters, so the action part or the plot points have more of an impact, that each character has more of an impact what they bring to the story. So I don't mind that, and this being the 3rd out of 4, because it's not a trilogy anymore, it's out of 4 books, I think it needed that anyways, or I should have saw it coming, because book 2 didn't really feel, in my opinion, book 2 didn't feel like that, because there is just, if we were just straight into the action. Book 2 is like, we're running, we're doing things, you know? A lot of, oh my gosh, I love book 2. Book 2 is one of my favorites. I think it's still my favorite even after reading book 3, but I saw it coming that like, okay, we're gonna have to slow down at some point so we can have such a huge payoff for book 4, the last book. Oh my gosh, if anything, it just makes me super excited for book 4 because I don't know how much you can slow down after that, because this one did the slowing down for you for every other character to catch up. This is the first in the series that did multiple POVs and in a span of a couple months. So this, I think also because of the time frame that's taken, though it does skip time, they do take you back and explain what happened during that time. So I don't know if I would say it's like truly skipping, because you know in books are like, okay, 2 years later, 3 years later, or 5 months later, and then that's it, and they don't really talk about what happened during that time. If they may or may not choose to talk about in another like book or chapter or whatnot. This one does that where it's like, okay, don't worry, 3 months later, but they'll tell you like what character was doing that month in another chapter or so. So I mean, I liked it. I love the POVs. I love that we got William's POV because William is such a freaking sweetheart, okay? I don't know if I should post it, but there's a fan art that someone's done that I imagine these characters looking like, and I always consider that fan art. Maybe I'll post it over here. If not, then I'll cut this part out. William is just such a freaking sweetheart, a gorgeous sweetheart. I'm glad we got his POV. At first, I was kind of confused because there were some other people's POVs that I was kind of like, okay, wait, what are they going to bring to the story? You know, like for example, we get Mariah's POV, and I was like, Mariah? Like, I love you, girl, but like, what about you? That sounds so rude. Now after reading book 3, I love her. I just love the girl group. Anyway, sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself because it truly wasn't until Act 3 and Act 4 where I just fell in love, and I read this book all the way up to like 4 a.m. in the morning when I finished. I didn't finish it that night. I saved the last 2 chapters. Okay, I'm getting ahead of myself. Yeah, the multiple POVs. I screamed when we first got Natasha's POV. If you know who Natasha is. Holy crap, I did not expect that. I don't know, I don't go into books hella guessing things. I do question certain, like, oh, I bet this is gonna happen. But when I'm in the moment, when I'm like watching it in the moment, because I visualize it, the how Tracy Deonn writes these books feels like a movie in my head. Like I can see it, why, I hope it's still the time of recording this, that's still gonna be adapted to a TV show, but it just feels like a movie. I lost my train of thought, I'm sorry. What were we talking about? We were talking about the different POVs and Natasha. Okay. What I was saying is that I don't go into books guessing exactly, or when I'm in the moment reading it, I don't really guess what's going to happen just because it just doesn't come into mind. If it's so obvious what's gonna happen, to me that means the book might not be as interesting. If I can guess in like more of like, oh, I don't know, in a negative way, but not negative, I don't know, because sometimes you can guess in a positive way. It's like, oh, I hope this doesn't happen to this character, and then it does, and then you get so happy because you were right. That to me is fine. Anyways, and let me not go into a tangent in that area because I haven't had that full experience yet, luckily, because I know exactly what books I want to read. Yeah, the whole thing was just so exciting, so exciting to read. I will say, I'll talk about it in my wrap up. Another reason why it took me so long to finish or even get up to Act 3 was, or like in the middle of Act 3, I'm not sure. I think I was fully engaged by Act 3. My favorite character, if you don't know, is Cell. I have a couple favorite characters, and Cell is one of them. And let me tell you, he was being a little brat. This is spoiler territory, so I can say it, but Homeboy was being a little bit of a brat, okay? Maybe I'm just kind of biased to his mom. It's just like, given the circumstances, she truly tried her best. I know she wasn't there for you. Like, I get it. But you don't have to be like such a little brat about it. I don't know. He was being annoying. I was like, oh, come on, Cell. You were so cool. And like, book 2 was you. Book 2 was all you. You were so cool in book 2. And so he kind of redeems himself a little bit. He becomes like a new person towards the end, which is fine. I keep wanting to talk about the end so bad, but we won't. We'll get to it. That was the only thing. And even Brianna, even Bree, even the homegirl, okay? Even our main character was kind of being a little bit of annoying. Like some of her It's okay. They're not perfect, these characters, by no means. I think that's the whole point between the rest of the books. These characters are not perfect. They all have flaws, even our homeboy Nick. Everyone has flaws, but still, I was kind of like irritated. Not in a super irritated. I was like, come on, Brie. Her point of view was my least excited for to get into. Once the book went straight to be like, okay, you went from William to Natasha to who else? I think those are the only, to Nick's, right? To Nick's point of view, which I guess this should have been called like Nick's book. He gets redemption in this book. Everyone's point of view was honestly super interesting to me. And then when we got to Brianna, I was like, girl, like, come on, like, stop complaining. But she has every right to. It's just when you traveled with her, or when you learn her journey and what she's been through, especially, again, I can't stop talking about book 2, but she goes through some really traumatic stuff that I don't think anyone would be able to act normal afterwards if you were in her position. And even now, she goes through a lot. So it's just silly to say, like, okay, girl, you need to stop complaining. But I don't know. You get it. Just reading it wasn't as fun for me. And then I loved her again after Act 3. I was just like, okay, that's the girl we know. Even when she like complained about certain things, it was just cute. I will say the banter in this book is adorable, okay? Everyone, not just like the love interests, but the people talking to each other just feels so human. It just feels like banter that I would talk with my personal friends. Like, that's how I talk to them, with making these silly jokes, even in very serious moments. We all have that friend group or whatnot, if you have the sense of humor similar to mine. Even in serious moments, like, there's a little joke that comes out. I know, it kind of sounds horrible, but the banter just felt very real. Okay, the banter felt super relatable. And that's what I really liked about it. Nick. Can we talk about Nick? Can we talk about Nick? I just want to keep talking about this book. It's just so fun. What a fun ride. I truly changed my personal rating after the last like 2 parts, after halfway through the book. This was a redemption arc for Nick. For all of us complaining, I don't know if it was a complaint. Maybe it was a complaint. For me, I didn't mind because it was whatever. Nick's first impression for me in book 1 was like, oh, this is a cool guy. Like, he's kind of nice. He's one of those sweethearts where it's just like totally not realistic. Not realistic, but I know there's people out there with partners who are very similar to Nick and like very happy for you. I know they exist, but he seems like a very perfect like book boyfriend who listens to you, who cares about your well-being, who's there for you. I mean, sorry, let's not say that. he kind of was there and not there at the same time. But in book 3, he was there. Book 2, he was non-existent. But for the first 2 books, you get introduced to this really cool character who has an interesting background, which is Nick. And then he doesn't really show up. I mean, he just doesn't. There's so many other characters, so it's just interesting that one of our main 3, Nick, Sel, and Brianna, Nick truly got pushed aside. They made more screen time for all the side characters because we can't have all 3 main characters. You know, like, or those POVs that we need the most to have too much screen time if you want to be attached to the other characters. So Nick took a back seat in like probably more than halfway in the book in book 1, and in book 2, I always can't like say he just doesn't exist in book 2. He does, okay? Like, I remember the parts where he comes in being like, hey, and then he dips. Just because Brianna goes through so much shit in book 2, he wasn't there for that, you know? He wasn't there to protect her. It truly was Sel was the only one for her. It physically also being there to save her from all these things. So I felt like at that moment, I was like, oh, you can't be the love interest. You can't be there for her most traumatic times and still be number 1. You know, that's when I lost hope in terms of like, you're not number 1, homie. Like, Sel was there for her. He saved her life like 3 times. Like, she was almost dead like 3 times or 2 times. Sel was there. You were somewhere else doing other things. Important things, but you get the point. He just wasn't in the picture in book 2. Book 3... all you Nick fans, I liked him, he was cool, but if you were a fan before, with the little that we got of him in the last 2 books, you're going to love book 3. You're gonna love book 3. He's in all of it. I mean, this is his book. It's Brianna's too, but you get his point of view, what he's been up to in the last couple months. and it's much needed. It truly was. I'm glad she stretched this into another book, so 4 books in the story, because it was definitely much needed to have justice for Nick and get us reattached to Nick. Whenever he spoke in the last 2 books, it was just like poetic. It was like, ooh, like you fell in love with him, like instant kind of love, like, oh my god, he's such a sweet boy. So it's such a sweet man, right? And book 3, you finally get like to the extent of his sweetness and his like love and how much he cares for Brianna. We always knew he was so obsessed with her, but you truly get the details. This was way more romance in the last 2 books combined, okay? The romance is here. When they say YA and romance was in it, book 3, that's where it all is, okay? So, and as someone who doesn't like, not that doesn't enjoy romance, but I kind of like read really quickly through romance because I just don't care. This one was actually really, the way she does her romance is really cute. It's just a lot of yearning, okay? It's just a lot of like, she's teasing you. She's teasing you. I joke about this, but give me a book with a romance that takes like a whole series for them to even do anything. And still, yeah, we're still waiting, okay? We're still waiting. I love it. I love it. I know who she's gonna choose. Brie. I don't think she's gonna choose both. That's not gonna happen. I know who she's gonna choose, but so far Tracy has surprised me so much, and in book 3 there is just so many surprises that unfold. I was just shocked. I could not stop reading. So I truly am envious of the people who read this book in one go, maybe in like a couple of days, because it took me a month to even realize the best part was in the past the middle. So it just goes to show, like, even if you're not having, even if it's a slow moment, do have hope that it kind of pick up depending what book you're reading. But it definitely picks up. This book definitely picks up. I loved it. I loved it so much. I didn't expect. I also cried. I normally cry in books when it gets really emotional, but the type of crying I did in this book was happy tears. It was actually just truly happy tears. And I feel like crying being happy is harder than crying being sad. I don't know. I watched this interview when it comes to acting, and they talked about being a villain or getting those type of emotions out of you is actually harder than just being happy. Or maybe it's like easier. I forgot. I don't know. It's tricky being like a really good villain, right? I don't know if this ties into it, but I feel like for me to crying happy is harder because I have a ton of sad books. Like I have a ton of books that are like depressing and hits you really hard. It may or may not send you like a positive note at the end. Like that's optional for some of the books I know I own. So I know I'll be crying in that sense, but to cry happy tears, I was like, whoa, it's too late or too early in the morning for me to feel this way. It was good. Give me a father-daughter moment and I'm gonna cry no matter what you do. Father-daughter moments make me cry so much. And just pure happiness when people were just missing her friends. Like when William hugged Brianna, how Tracy wrote it was just, and we know how William is. We know how like adorable he is. Just made me cry. I don't know. He just cared so much. He cares about his patients. He cares about his friends the most, even more. And just to see someone that he knows and experienced with the most horrible traumatic stuff and that knows that she's going to keep going through even more worse things. Like, I don't know. To see her again, alive and well. It's just so cute. William's just so cute. I overall enjoyed. Natasha ended up being like, I'm going all over the place. I'm sorry, whatever. I'm just dumping, right? This is a vlog. I'm dumping thoughts. But towards the end too, we get more. Natasha ended up being one of my favorite characters as well. It's so cute when she does her little like vlog diaries as someone also in the science field, right? That's going for scientists. That's what I go to school for, to become a scientist. How you vlog your notes or how you write your notes. She does like audio vlogs for her notes. That's how we read her point of view. It's so professional. It's cute because you end up, and it's like second nature. Definitely if you've done it for so long, you end up using like professional terms, or how you describe things fit more of like, well, clearly you're doing this as like a log. So you say certain things that makes you perceive, like writing an email, okay? If you're working corporate or whatever, or just in general and you're sending an email to the company, your terminology, your tone of voice is different in that email, okay? So think of it like that. And when she's out of her vlogs, out of her like recording of inspecting cell, essentially. Her personality outside of it is just funny. She starts cursing, not a lot, but you know, she's just like, I cannot believe this guy. It's just cute. And then she's such a badass towards the end. I'm just like, yes, exactly. And speaking of badasses, I appreciate that I haven't read that many books in terms of like these type of characters, what I'm about to say, because I know exactly what I like. Not exactly, but I know what I would enjoy, and so I pick books that I enjoy. That's why I don't really run into books anymore that I don't enjoy. It's very rare. I have a lot of books, right? More than that. And I know a lot of them I will enjoy them because they are within my field. But from what I've heard, I watch synopsis of books I know I'm never going to read. And let me just say and appreciate, I'm not saying like he's the coolest character yet, but our like Eberus, I think I might be pronouncing it wrong, but are the hunter essentially. I appreciate that we have ancient demons. He's not the only one. We have other ancient demons. He's in the back over here, I think. But I appreciate that we have ancient demons or older demons that have lived and gone through so many things, and they're not like stupid. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? They're actually smart, and they're not getting outsmarted by a bunch of kids that are still learning. I mean, they're not kids. They're teens. They're almost in their 20s, right? Brianna's definitely like younger than 20. Younger than 21, yeah. I think she just turned like maybe 17. I don't know. I forgot. I think her birthday was last book. But, you know, under 20. And we have an ancient demon who's sounds like he's there since the beginning of time. And not really, I'm joking. But during King Arthur's age, right? He's a Merlin. He's the Merlin. I just appreciate that he's not getting like super outsmarted. They're trying so many attempts to be 1 or 2 steps ahead, and they mention it so many times that he is like multiple, like hundreds and hundreds far into the future steps ahead. Like he has things set and planned just in case of his other plans don't fully work out, or some people are just like very obvious or just like teenagers, you know, because he took care of like 2 others. I appreciate that. He does terrible things. He's taken many lives. I get like he's a bad guy, but he's one of those very well written bad guys. He is also a teacher to Brianna, and everything he does is a lesson. He doesn't waste time. He just does not waste time. If he's gonna do this, it might as well be like a teaching moment. He's just like, I'm here to do one thing and one thing only. Ain't nobody gonna be in my way, right? So I just appreciate that our villains are true villains. I don't feel any sympathy for him or whatnot. Like, they're not doing any sympathy for him, but I don't feel like complaining like, okay, you've been this old, you've been through all these many wars, and you're telling me like you got fooled by that. Like, none of that happens. He's a smart villain, and I appreciate a good villain. I appreciate one that's just like, no, clearly he's gonna be smarter than these kids. But of course they're gonna come on top, so they have to be out. It takes more work, more than 3 books, for them to outsmart the king. And that's just one of their problems. They got other problems to deal with. So I can't wait until they close the chapter on... There's only one more book left, so I don't know how they're going to end it, because we still have a whole war after that. But it's so good. Everyone's powered up. Okay, the trio is all, they have all their things. Not fully. We have some like I'm not gonna mention them here, even though it's a spoiler territory. I don't want to mention like the major plot points. I wanted to savor this moment. I was, I think, like at chapter 59 or whatnot, and there was only like 2 or 3 more chapters. There's 62 chapters, but 62 is like 1 page. The chapters are short, okay? It's only 1 page. There's only like 3 pages left, okay? And I didn't want to finish it that night because I wanted to savor everything I've just witnessed. And I think maybe some of you all can relate. If the book is getting so good, some books you want to finish it just right there and then, and some, because it was such a journey, definitely if it's part of a duology, a trilogy, or whatnot, or even more, because it was such a journey, you kind of just want to reflect on everything before you get to the very end. And because I'm caught up now, like I'm reading the series while it's still in the making, I was like, oh no, don't rush it, Kim. Come on, like sleep it through, like sleep what exactly you just read. And so I did that. I'm glad I did, because of course Tracy, of course she did, added another surprise in the way she explains things, right, of a certain plot. And the way she explained it got me on the floor. I was like, girl, there's only 2 pages left and you're still surprising us, you know? Like, I love her. She just, I don't know if I can read another, I hope I read other fantasy series that are just as good. Like, in different ways, of course, but just, the writing was still amazing, even during the slow moments. Like, the writing is still good, the banter is good, the character development is good, the pacing is good. Everyone took their time leveling up. Our main 3 characters took their time leveling up, and we got to understand the magic system even more this time. Another big story moment got revealed of like how bad the order is, because they're even stooping even lower. So that to say, I enjoyed this book. I can't wait. I mean, this is probably the most you're gonna hear, clearly, because I think I've been talking for 20 minutes now, but this is the most you're gonna hear me talk about this book, because I think for my June reading wrap up, because it's a part of a series, I'm not really gonna say much. I think I mentioned this book, the whole series, in every month so far. You really need to explore it yourself in order to understand. Oh my god, let me say this too. I'm getting so excited, but let me say this too. How consistent Tracy is with the themes is like surprising to me. Not surprising, I shouldn't be surprised, but I feel like in some books they mention these deep themes, like racism is definitely brought up. I mean, clearly. Clearly, not just even a little bit, but clearly. But the treatment and like what people do to other people, and the other heavier themes, and definitely like grief too, because we start off the book with grief. How consistent she is of bringing that back up and making sure like we did not forget, even though there's happy moments and sad moments and whatnot, we did not forget the overall. This is why we are here. This is why like we've gotten into this place in the first place, and this is why the system is so messed up. This is why people don't listen to us or regard for other people's lives in terms of like people of color. She's so good at keeping it consistent. I don't know how to explain it. It's just in a really good writing way. I'm happy. And not just talking about grief, but also coping and living with grief. How to continue living, or continue the want to live, or seeing purpose to live from experiencing something so traumatic. And for some of these characters, it's like back to back. Some of them is just like only one person in their lives, they only have to experience that level of grief, and others, like our main character, like she's just seeing death all the time now. Yeah, I just loved it. It's such a great book. It's so lovely. It's lovely. I can't wait for book 4. But yeah, I hope I mentioned everything. I mean, I didn't, not everything, but these are the things that got me super like hyped. I'm pretty sure I'm forgetting other things because I'm recording this 2 days after I finished the book. So my like level of hype, believe it or not, was even more like, I can't believe what I just read. I'm so happy. This was so worth the read. It has simmered down a little bit. So this is me collecting my thoughts and overall rating. And I think I rated this like a 4.5, only because it didn't hook me enough to continue it. Like the first, in the moment, book 1 and book 2, I read that so fast. I know I said this already. Book 3, like I just stopped. I stopped and then regret it once I hit the good parts, and I was like, why did I stop reading? I should have continued. But this is a 650 page book. Everyone says it's that I watch too, but like when you are a mood reader, you don't want to force yourself if you're not having a good time, because it can affect your overall feeling of the book. So I was willing to just like, hey, if I'm not having a great time, I wasn't having a terrible time, but if I just don't care, and this is a series I care a lot about, if whatever reason I'm not caring right now, let me just put it to the side and wait to finish the book when I actually want to get back into the world. And so that's what I did. Like when I look at my reading log, I definitely like took a week break off this book and just read other books in between that I had a great time with. And I was like, okay, I think it's time to get back into the Legendborn series. I think it's time to come back. And it was worth the time to come back. So it was kind of like a sweet reminder to myself that it's okay to take your time reading certain series. You know, it's okay to step away from a book or do like a soft DNF. It's not because you were having a terrible time. Maybe you're just not in the mood, because I don't want to do this book just injustice by reading it when I'm in not a good mood. Like, and then I feel like I would have a terrible time. But no, she did it again. Oh, I'm so happy. I'm so happy. But yeah, I'm now reading, like, moving on. We're done from spoiler territory. I'm moving on to Watermoon. I've listened to the audiobook for that one. I do have the physical, and I think I prefer reading the physical. I do both, but I like to catch back up and do annotations, so it actually takes me like twice as long when I do the audio and physical, because sometimes I'm doing it at different times, and then I want to catch up, and so I'm actually rereading. And I don't know if I want to continue the audiobook or not. It's not terrible. It's just I've heard better, and reading it was much more easier for me to. I had to just do it at the same time. I don't know. We'll see. But I want to get that one finished. So far it is. I'm only like chapter 15 or something, and the chapters are super short, so that doesn't say much. Okay, that's like a few pages. But so far it's definitely giving like the magic and Studio Ghibli vibes that people are talking about. And they also even mention it. Anyways, I should put spoiler, but not really. Like, this is, I think it even says it in the synopsis. I'm not sure. Of like, this is Studio Ghibli vibes. It's definitely cozy. Cannot wait. What a drastic change from everything I've read. It's definitely, like, the last cozy book I read was Green Teeth, and that was last month. And that was like adventure cozy, you know, so it's nice to get back into a cozy book. I know I mentioned this last vlog, but I really want to get into a Song of Lost Legends so freaking bad. I even set up my annotations to get it ready, my tabs. Like, I got it ready. I was just like, I can't wait to like get straight into this book. I know what you're thinking. You're like, Kim, then why don't you just like stop Watermoon and go straight into Song of Lost Legends? I've been waiting to read Watermoon for so long, and I've owned it for so long, so I'm like, no, you don't understand. If I don't read it now, I'm not going to read it in years. There's so many other book series that I want to start, and because I finally finished the series, not finished, because finished for the year, until the next book comes out, I'm trying to choose very wisely of what series I want to continue, because from there on, I'm going to stick to that series until I catch up or finish. So trying to choose very wisely. Song of Lost Legends is part of a trilogy, I believe, but only book 1 came out this year. So I'll be experiencing it in the moment, just like how I am with Legendborn now that I'm caught up. But I was like, no. I know it's gonna be good. I haven't read or watched any reviews. I don't even think the booktubers I follow or Instagram, because I only follow for, when it comes to books, it's my best friend or YouTube and Instagram. But between those, I actually haven't seen it like in my algorithm, which kind of makes me upset, because I feel like it's probably going to be freaking amazing and no one's talking about it. But I do understand that like some people, once you know it's part of a series, they will wait until everything is out. I am one of those, depending what series it is. If I'm too excited, I'll just start reading it. But I understand if people will not start talking about it as much if it hasn't been fully out for all 3 books, because only 1 book is out. So I get it. But I'm excited. It's by another Black author, and I want more. I'm a huge sci-fi fantasy person, and I just want more like Black authors who venture into that field. And so for this YA book, I freaking loved it. I just want to explore more authors who are just as good. But yeah, that's my catch up. I think this might be the whole vlog, honestly. I haven't done much. I've done like a Lego set. I'll show you my Lego set in a second that I finished. But yeah, alright. Hope you enjoyed this rant. Or it's not even a rant. I hope you enjoyed this book review with spoilers. Okay, bye.
Would have given him an answer if he thought he would understand. Slowing down wasn't a choice. The questions that chased him were too fast. They were going to bury him alive if he stopped.
All right, you see that? You see that? I made that. We were watching a Stephen King movie essentially last night, and I was making that while we were watching the Stephen King movie. It's a bamboo. I don't know if I want to leave it here because it blocks off the painting in the back. Also made by a Filipino artist. But it's cute. I have more plant Lego sets, but I clearly don't have space on the shelf anymore for it. But yeah, that's what I did last night. I didn't really do much vlogging of it, but it was cute. It's fun. The leaves also move. So that was a cute touch. Isn't it so pretty? Hi. I want to do like a little check-in. We went out to San Francisco to the city for a little like concert or show for Studio Ghibli music, right? And on the way, because there was a lot of waiting, we decided to take public transportation, and I decided to bring a book. It's different from Water Moon. I mean, clearly, because let me grab it. Water Moon, my edition of it is one of the special editions, and I didn't want to just bring this around and read. That's the only downfall. It's hard for me to bring these around. Normally, I like to look at them at home, and then use them at home. But when I'm just going on a little excursion like that, I'll just bring a smaller book, and this was on my TBR for this month. It's by Banana Yoshimoto, NP. This is gonna be a spoiler. Okay, like I'm okay talking about spoiler stuff if it's during my vlogs. This is a verbal reminder, or not reminder, but like heads up, and that we're entering spoiler territory, and then I'll put a little border around as I take down my braids that I slept in last night. Yeah, Can we just talk about it a little bit? I'll do like a brief summary. Essentially, this book is this Japanese author who wrote their works in English. He became pretty popular and famous for his stories, so they translated his works into Japanese. And as they're approaching the 98th story of his work, the translators are... It's a little bit deep, sorry, trigger warning. The translators who decide to translate his work end up committing suicide, and the main author himself also committed suicide. So there is this train happening with his works, specifically the 98th story, where they're just dying, right? So we follow this young girl. She's not that young, but she's like in her 20s now, but we go back and forth into her memories of what she remembers of her boyfriend at the time. But anyways, I'm out here to say, it's pretty interesting. I'm very, like, intrigued. I didn't tab because I was walking around. I am going to go back and tab. Even in smaller books like this, like, I definitely want to tab in. I think I Who Have Never Known Men. Just because they're small doesn't mean I'm not going to annotate in it, right? This is small, but there's definitely some things, like, I have thoughts on. And to my surprise, y'all, to my surprise, and essentially the book is they're investigating the trend of why people are committing suicide by trying to translate their work. And the main character, which I already forgot her name, Kazumi, I think it's Kazumi, our main character Kazumi, her boyfriend is named Soji. So the reason why we're following, sorry I'm all over the place, but the reason why we're following our main character and how she's tied to this is that her boyfriend was one of the translators that committed suicide. We're also investigating why did he have to go too. To my surprise, in this whole story, I'm on page, like, I went pretty far, I'm not gonna lie, just like traveling all day yesterday. I went to page 70, and this is a fairly short book. There's only like 11 pages with an afterword. We get to finally know what the book is about. Okay, essentially they summarize what that 98th book is about, because they know the book. It's already translated it's written in English originally, so you can read it already. People can read the 98th. It's just not translated in Japanese yet. Oh my goodness. Okay, so I don't know how to say this. Me struggling to explain. I think the parts I do remember is that he has an affair. It's this messy book, okay? He has an affair with his wife, and the person he had an affair with was his daughter, or he had romantic feelings for his daughter. And I was like, oh, but this is a story within a story, right? This is the written work. And then they tied it into, they kind of like, Kazumi, she was talking to the author's son. They have twins. The author has twins. So he was talking to her son about this. And she was just kind of like, her point of view or her like theories, it kind of gives off the vibes that he's talking about his daughter, like the author's daughter, or having those kind of romantic feelings towards his own daughter. It kind of seems like, oh, this is not just a fictional character. This might be in relation to real life or tied to the author too, right? And I was like, what? Whoa! So I didn't expect, in like an potentially incest story within a story, and to even more like drop some bombshells. It was just crazy. Just all happened within less than 100 pages. You get all this information. We learned that, again, this doesn't make sense. Maybe if you read NP, you can relate. Maybe if you read NP, you can relate. But the author's son is seeing someone right now, and he's been telling Kazumi, like, hey, be careful about her, like, you should really watch out about this girl. I don't know if he dropped the name. I think he might have dropped the name or whatnot. Not watch out, but just like, hey, there's someone that you need to talk to. She's tied to this case, or like she knows a lot. This is like good information. You'll get to meet her soon, right? And then she ends up running into Kazumi in the most weirdest way. What an interesting character, first of all. You can tell that, not that she's not all there, but she's different. She's just a very unique person. Like, the whole interaction is very unique. And she drops these other bombshells. And essentially, Kazumi doesn't feel super comfortable with her, but also she's just kind of like, F it, whatever. Fine, I'll go along with your craziness. What do I got to lose? I kind of like Kazumi for that. I like how accepting she is of like the crazy reality of what's going on right now with her in life. And she's just like, you kidnapped me. All right, you got questions? Let's talk. She's like, I have all day. I took off work, It's just funny. It's not funny, clearly not funny. I just like our character not being too, I don't know, her personality, like, because you can go about this in multiple ways of being very dramatic. She knows who she is. They're in the same circle, so it's not too random of a kidnapping, but she said she'll take her home. Anyways, that's like the part I left off. But the part I stopped at, essentially, was that she dropped the bombshell that her, like, I've heard your name so much around because, one, I used to date your ex. Again, her ex was the man, Soji, who tried to translate the work and passed away. So she drops that bomb being like, I used to date him too. And another bomb saying, oh, what? And I'm also dating, oh my god, his name is like, I don't listen to the audio. I didn't listen to the audio of this one. Tokyo? I think I'm pronouncing that wrong, but that's his name. That's his son's name. They're twins, so there's a girl too, which she gets along. Our main character gets along like beautifully, but she's talking to him, and I don't think there's like romantic feelings, but they get along very, very. The main character and him get along very well. Like they have chemistry, like best friend chemistry, kind of, if that makes sense. They both relate with their past traumas, and so I'm dating him too. She knows that she's dating him, but she didn't know their relationship. And essentially the author, which is the father, right, also hooked up with another woman and they had a baby. So they dropped the bomb that he is dating his stepsister. I don't think they used the word dating. I know she used it against her, being like, do you want to talk about the translated work? I thought you kidnapped me for that reason. And she's like, no, there's other things I want to talk about. But yeah, it's that crazy. I know I'm like taking out a lot of parts. There's more to it because we enter our main character's past trauma and everyone else's trauma. Like, it looks like there's a lot of trauma bonding. It seems like there's a lot of trauma bonding in the book, and I'm hooked. I just didn't expect two potential like incest stories. That's all. A story within a story. One's fiction, but then they're tying it to an actual real life, like maybe that's what the author felt with his own daughter, and then of course the son with his step. Whoa. It's more than that. Clearly, I'm expecting it to be more than that. I'm not halfway into the book yet. I think halfway is at the 100 mark, and we're finally starting to get into the mystery of the 98th book, NP. All right, the 98th. It does tie into a lot of like being able to translate and the difference between translated works. I think that this book is trying to highlight it. I mean, that's the impression I'm getting if I look past that. I think they're going to be highlighting like how it feels to translate your work, or if it seems like it was always intended to be in Japanese is their assumption. Soji actually finished translating it, but he didn't like it and he wanted to restart it because she does bring it up being like, oh yeah, I thought you were already done. You said you were finished. And it looked like he just tossed it and wanted to do it again because it wasn't doing it justice, or it felt not like a true to its translation or what the author was trying to say. And so it's just a lot of that, and I think it will tie into that a lot or have some themes about it. But this is one of those books where, you know how some people talk about books that there's some things in it where you can't look past, or it might bother you, or you can't change it. Like sometimes it would be age. There's an age gap in this thing too. I was like, dang, you're gonna hit me with all of it, even with like the big age gap, stuff like that. But the thing is, like, he's no longer around, so I guess it doesn't even matter anymore. But it comes down to like, okay, well, was it normal in that culture? You know, you keep thinking about all these other things because this is also a translated work. This is translated from Japanese English. So I actually own, I'll do like a mini book haul, more books from, this is my first read from Banana Yoshimoto. So I really, really hope, I mean, I have like 4 more books from them coming. And I have another one my friend gifted, which I'm excited to read too. So far, I'm just liking it, like not loving it, but I'm enjoying the read. It's very like interesting. It's hooking me. But I just didn't expect that. I was just like, whoa, because I didn't listen to anything or had reviews or listen to reviews about this author and their books. So yeah, it's crazy. And this is like all me reading on BART and like waiting at the station. I'm just like, what? Messy. And I also kind of was thinking about people who enjoy reading books with drama in it. It's giving off drama in the beginning between all these relationships within the family members, but between the family members. I'm not trying to make it seem like a lighter note or what. It's a pretty heavy note. That's why I got the book, because I like heavy themes. It's just how you present that and how you show it to other people, or how you use that for your story, or if it's related to your personal life. I like to hear different points of view and different ways how you can go about it. You never know what connects to another. This is more deeper, but you never know what connects to another person depending on how they explain it to you. I always like have this theory, and I think it's true in general, like what a lot of people like understand. But if something's hard, or if someone's not getting your point or the reason why we do things, and you're trying to explain it to that person, and they with the most like more general explanation, and they still don't get it, or they still don't get the point, it could just be how they take the information and how they understand it. Sometimes you might need to show that same information that you told them, but just in a different form, different medium, or in different words. That's why I enjoy reading stuff that has like more hard to understand or hard themes or hard to swallow type themes, because I'm realizing in books they go about it in the most creative way. And I don't know, I'm enjoying the intake, because I don't normally intake this. I mean, I intake it through movies, but it's kind of hard with movies because sometimes you don't actually want to also see it visually. You want to have your mind, definitely if you've been through something similar. But you know, I like books. They can do the impossible, right? They can make it over dramatic, they can make it to the extreme, or they can make it very subtle, or make it very relatable. It could be an alien world and still be relatable to the deeper meaning and theme. So that's why I enjoy reading books, or reaching out and trying to read different types of books that touch on those themes and see how they approached it. Because again, you never know who's gonna actually be like, oh yeah, this is something I related to, or this was the beginning of my journey to going to read more other type of books similar. So I can't wait to see the result of this book. I need to go back in. I was organizing my tabs. Another side note, I'm still in my pajamas, by the way. I have my Godzilla pajama, Mothra. But I bought more annotation kits. Going to a stationery store today because we're gonna go eat out. That's why I have makeup on my pajamas. About to change. But let me show you. I bought a couple. This is overtime. I just bought another pack as I drop some. No. Because the thing with these with these tabs is, so I did get the color ones. I actually packed them, so there's 2 in each. I fixed them last night, I think. Yeah. The only downfall with these is that there's just not a lot in it. And as I was annotating Oathbound, which is over 600 pages, like 650 pages, when you're annotating a book that big, you're gonna clearly run out of the color you want to use. I don't use too many colors because I think at most I use 4. No, at most 5, most commonly 4. I just pick the colors for the books. Like for example, there's only 3 colors I want to use for this. And if there's something else I want to newly tab, I'll pick a new color that might just fit the vibe. But smaller books I like to use like 3 to 4, and then bigger books potentially 5, no more than 5, because I think I can't keep up with my own tabbing system if it's more than 5, because I kind of generalize it. Like I generalize my tabs. Let me see. I can show you. This is random. We're talking about annotating now. But moving on. So I get the tabs ready. I think I have a Song of I keep butchering the title of this book. I've been rewatching what I've been recording, and I keep butchering it. But A Song of Legends Lost, or I kind of got it ready. And so I'll put these tabs here, and then I won't write the key until I actually start reading, because I don't know exactly what I want to save. I think Water Moon, because I'm actually in the middle of it. Where's my tabs for Water Moon? Yeah, these are my tabs for Water Moon. So sorry I'm like showing the book weird, but yeah. This is more recent because I'm doing this right now. Plot points, major moments would be one of the tabs. The next one would be worth remembering for the blue. Romance, oh yeah, if I know there's romance, I'll always have a romance tab. I'm not to just always tab every romantic scene, but probably a scene that I enjoy, or like a lot of the books I have are very like slow burn romance, and so I like to tab the moments where it's like, oh, here they finally mentioned it, kind of, or it's like, ah, you're so sweet. And specifically for this one, I have Studio Ghibli vibes and magic for green. Because it's being compared to that a lot, I wanted to tab like, oh, is this like a very magical moment that gives off the vibes, or like, oh, I can see why, because over here they mention, you know, by this point where, you know, you get the point. But yeah, that's what I'm doing right now before we leave. I think, what's the time? I don't think I can see the time here. I was organizing that last night. I have more. It's crazy. But I wanted to double stack them. Yeah, I have more. I wanted to double stack them so I know, so they're ready, or at least like put 2 in 1 and then stack them so they're ready to be used for more bigger, thicker books, because I have some bigger books coming in, not coming in, but to read. And I don't want the limitations of like, I don't have that color, because I'm just so, not a perfectionist, but I'm just very picky. I wish I can let certain things go, but when it comes to how I do things, but I can't. This is what I truly enjoy. And I already double stacked these. I'm not sure if you can see them. Oh, you can. It's not there on there perfectly, but it's on there enough. Yeah, I already double stacked them because The Song of Lost Legends is a big book too. So Legends Lost, whatever. I keep when we start reading it. Well, no. Hopefully I get to read that next week or later next week. I really want to finish Water Moon. And NP, honestly, I might finish this tonight. Because I just didn't finish it last night. Because I wanted to organize my tabs, and that didn't go fully well. I'm also debating, because I was watching another YouTuber I just found. She showed her annotation style, and she organized all her tabs based on color, right? So, for example, one whole sheet would have all the blues, and then of course it moves down to the others, like the purples and the pinks. So part of me kind of wants to just and it makes it so much easier to find colors that way. A part of me wants to do that and remove some of the tabs to be more closer to their colors. But another part of me is like, oh, but how you get the tabs are kind of already organized in a way where they're fun to use color-wise. If you're not the type to match it up with the books, like they're already aesthetically pleasing altogether. Like they pick the colorway for you, saying like, okay, well, if you don't want to think too much about what you want to use, this set is really gorgeous together. If you want to go for a more moody set, this set works perfectly. So that's what I also appreciate, that you don't even have to think that hard. You can just use already the preset colorway. So part of me doesn't want to ruin that, but I always go based on what the book looks like. So I don't know. For convenience sake, I really should just change them to, or reorganize it so it's all matching its colors. I think that would help me a crap ton, but it's very pleasing to the eye to see all these beautiful colors. It just takes so long to choose, because I'm like, there's an orange here, there's an orange there, there's an orange there, versus one whole sheet that just shows all oranges, you know? Now that I'm saying it out loud, I might actually do that. Now that I'm saying out loud, I might actually just completely remove all this and match all the oranges. It might take hours, but yeah, that's what I was doing. I just wanted to pop in. I probably did a horrible job explaining NP. I can see, but the spoilers essentially for NP. I was just shocked. What I came here to say, really, not really to explain it too much, but I was just shocked. Y'all know that coming? For those who've read NP, did you know that was gonna happen? I hope it's not like the whole point. I mean, actually, I can't even say that because that's the story they're translating. So I'm just very interested to see how they're going to go about it and how they're going to use it in the book overall. You know, what the other themes or what I'm trying to get out of this book. So excited. Okay. Gonna go shopping now. Goodbye.
Attention half breakfast customers. The time is now 7:32 and our store will be closing in less than half an hour at 8 o'clock. We will reopen again tomorrow at 10 a.m. Once again, our store will be closing in less than 30 minutes.
That's over at Trader Joe's. I hope they don't close at 8.
Trader Joe's?